I have no doubt that a lot of people like this episode the most. Each and every scene is either riveting, fascinating, or just damn clever. It seems to have come out of Mutant Enemy Productions' brand storytelling heaven when Jubal Early realizes where River's voice is coming from, or when River stands on the railing and listens in one of the most physically beautiful and fascinating group conversation scenes that I have ever seen in a TV show. The entire episode actually often has a great sense of physical orientation and therefore a great sense of the tactics that we are asked to visualize. It's easy to understand where stuff is, where people are going, and where danger lies. We can see in many scenes the way that special effects are put to the service of explaining the plot and keeping us literally oriented to where people are and where they're going within this great Hollywood set. The plot is also, like the rest of the Firefly episodes, superb with the use of details. We see where Jubal stores his helmet. We see him lick a post to test something important. We hear Malcolm groan as his unconscious body is dropped to the ground by his worried attacker. And this episode achieves something great because these details start to add up. To a villain who is charming and a bit crazy, not much different than Jane actually, and to a plot that stretches and snaps into place like a rubber band. This adds to one hell of a ride. After seeing this episode, perhaps you have noticed that this rapid ductwork zoom-in is not just some funky gratuitous bit of special effects. It's cryptically, visually explaining to us the mechanics of what happens later when River claims to have become Serenity. I think that this special effect has sort of shown us the literal path taken by her intuitive sense. She has detected Jubal Early at this point.
We're all just floating.
When she opens her eyes, she feels something unusual, and now she begins wandering the ship looking for the source of that feeling.
You couldn't possibly!
No, I wish I was lying. I just... we'd all just made surgeon. That was it. We were the elite. The world was ours,
So you had to be naked?
Naked, yes. And on top of the statue of Hippocrates. Can you just picture me?
What, naked?
Oh, well, let's see. I'm gonna have to conjure up, yeah, that's gonna be difficult. So the feds come?
There were no feds. Until I started singing. No, this is not...
What did you sing?
This is not funny. This is a morality tale about the evils of sake. I would be there right now. I mean, it was either that or the national anthem. Reports vary.
You don't remember any of this?
I remember talking to feds out of telling my father, or paying the feds out of telling my father. I get fuzzy on aspects.
Notice that River is touching the wall. This may be just an unimportant idiosyncrasy that she manifests as she wanders through the ship, but it is also possible that touching the ship is important to her for some reason.
Never? Well, no. Not ever, never. Some orders allow shepherds to marry, but...
She does it there again, and she's smelling or tasting her hand. That's sort of what Jubal Early does later when he licks the post.
They don't cut it off or nothing? No, I'm more or less intact.
We see a lot of scenes like this in Mutant Enemy Productions TV shows, where something else is ostensibly going on, but in the background here is Jane asking probing questions about Book's life, and possibly sowing seeds for their relationship in later episodes.
I got stupid. The money was too good. I don't give half a hump if you're innocent or not.
Book is Jane's moral opposite, but I'm seeing signs that Jane may someday see something to be gained from the religious life.
St. Jane, it's got a ring.
Anyway, now that River has detected Jubal, and for the rest of the episode, she is one step ahead of everybody. That zoom-in obviously doesn't explain everything, but it is one of those strange, subtle hints that you rarely catch when seeing the episode for the first time. This scene reminds me of an episode rerun of Buffy the Vampire Slayer that aired last season. The rerun aired the week following a new episode. In the new episode, it was revealed that a student in the local high school is one of the possible Slayer heirs. In the next week, many regular viewers probably skipped out on the rerun from earlier in the season because they had seen it before, but they then missed an earlier scene in that rerun episode that features the same Slayer heir in a brief counseling session with Buffy. This counseling session seemed somewhat pointless at the time it first aired, but on its second showing, we know a bit more about this girl and what it all means. Firefly plots do this a lot. They reveal hints to an ending of a story that we don't yet know exists. Again in this scene, there is no coolish music borrowed from somewhere else, so we can focus on the moment without humming along absent-mindedly. The music is simple and sweet, like these two young marrieds. They are the only people who are being honest, doing what they are thinking.
It's not a threat, Mel. I just can't do my work under these
You
circumstances.
knew the drill when you signed on.
This is a third planet in a row where I can't find decent clientele.
I'm sorry if I'm cutting into your retirement fund, but would it kill you not to spread for a spell?
You are unreal. I don't know why I haven't left already.
No one's forcing you to stay.
I'm a big girl, just tell me.
None of it means a damn thing.
Ah, to illustrate my foreshadowing theory, here is River saying something very similar to what Jubal says when he's looking into River's room.
It's just an object. Doesn't mean what you think.
Oh, please don't be mad.
I just want to understand what you're saying here. I thought River was your friend.
She is. But Simon, the way she... Right after she looked at me, and
She smiled. Like nothing was wrong. Like we were playing. Scared me.
Could be she saved your life, Kaylee.
Oh, I'm all aware of that, and I'm not
Probably didn't even know what was going on. You know, thought it was a game.
Later on, you can explain to me how that's comfort. Might have to use some of that math we've been hearing
What we
about.
got here to deal with is the larger issue, and that larger issue is we got someone on board this ship might be a danger to us. Ain't a question of whether we like her. Some of us grown attached to River. Kaylee, I know you have. You would have spoken up sooner, which, by the by, you should have. I find River pleasant enough myself.
Simon.
Gotta go check on my assassin.
Oh, please don't be mad. I had to say something.
I'm not mad at you. I just... She loves this ship. I think it's more home to her than any place she's been.
What about you?
I mean, I thought the hospital was home. It was really making a difference there. And embarrassingly large stacks of money, and
Now, of course, this is a replay of the previous scene when River reads his mind.
I would be there right now if she hadn't. If they had just left her alone.
I take it he's now finally admitting the truth to Kaylee here. This is a theme in this episode.
Is it so bad here?
People are coming clean, speaking the truth and being honest. Kaylee admits the possibility that her friend is a danger to the crew. River admits that she's not really incorporeally possessing the ship. When Jubal confronts Kaylee, he tells her to repeat the truth. There's no one can help me. I like how this honesty theme doesn't just translate to a simple moral lesson. People are honest, and that's generally good, of course. But of course, life is never that simple, is it?
Good night. You too.
No, yeah,
Good night.
Don't let the space bugs bite. Space bugs.
I like this ship. Serenity. She's good looking.
How did you get on?
Strains the mind a bit, don't it?
Oh, by the way, this episode aired around Christmas time.
Maybe I come down the chimney, Kaylee. Bring presents to the good girls and boys. Maybe not, though. Maybe I've always been here.
What do you want?
That's a beating heart, isn't it?
Pull off any one of 1,000 parts, she'll just die. Such a slender thread. You ever been raped? Dr. Tam, why don't you sit yourself down?
Rather die standing.
Well, the intention is not for you to die. The warrant doesn't specify any particular need for you to be alive, but...
Even in this high-stakes action-adventure plot, this episode still finds plenty of time to hear everyone out.
Where's your sister?
Are you a lion's?
Am I a lion?
What?
I don't think of myself as a lion. You might as well, though, have a mighty roar.
There are very few one-liners in Objects in Space. Relationships are way too charged and complex for that, and the episode just seems to be bursting with important stuff to say. There are some standard threats by the villain and other commonplace planning and scheming conversations, but all of this is mixed into a story that provides its own punchlines and a complex milieu of dialogue between interesting characters. No conversation ever seems too long.
Does the room, the thing, have purpose? Or do we... What's the word?
I really can't help you.
The plan is to take your sister, get the reward, which is substantial. Imbue. That's the word.
So you're a bounty hunter?
That ain't it at all.
Then what are you?
I'm a bounty hunter.
Come on out, River. Nice man wants to kidnap you.
I like the way the walls go out. Gives you an open feeling. Firefly is a good design. People don't appreciate the substance of things. Objects in space. People miss out on what's solid. It's not your moment, Doctor. Is that the companion shuttle?
Yes.
We'll try the empty first, then we'll pay her a visit. Her room's not saying a damn thing. Hold it.
Okay, since he's licking posts, we should probably start speculating about where this nut is coming from. Personally, I have two theories about Jubal Early in this episode. One, his mind is partially inhabited by River. He is sort of acting like her. He touches the ship. He has a keen physical awareness that seems to go beyond simple appreciation, but most important is the fact that he acts like someone is messing with his head. He hears a lion instead of alliance. He probably mishears Simon when he asks if he's a bounty hunter. And when he says, "You're not in my goddamn head," remember that there are many lines in Firefly episodes where people are so completely wrong that they say the opposite of the truth.
Because we're very much alone out here.
Jubal Early's line may be some sort of double switch that we find out about in a later episode. Okay, that's theory number one. That's probably getting a bit too wild. Try number two. Perhaps Jubal Early went through a similar program to what River was rescued from. He's graduated. He's been made sort of to forget the torture, and now he's a slightly crazed hired gun that does the dirty work for the Alliance. My evidence for this is that River has a strange, familiar connection with him. She detects him from deep space.
Talk too much.
She has a strange personal affinity. Also, perhaps you noticed that Jubal Early, just like River, is a big genius at just about everything. Perhaps this is why River insists that no one try and take this guy on until a time of her choosing. She sensed something unusual.
Where'd she go?
I can't keep track of her when she's not incorporeally possessing a spaceship. Don't look at me.
That's some nonsensical crap. Ain't nobody can do that. You somewhere on this boat. Somewhere with a comm playing games. That's somewhat unsettling.
Early. Mr. Jubal Early, bounty hunter.
Objects in Space could easily have turned into another Die Hard, but this episode is more interested in the villain's dilemma, and he is, in my opinion, the single most effective villain of this series. He is full of himself in all the quirkiest ways. He is not overconfident, like so many others before him. He is more interested in understanding and manipulating other people. My hat is off to this great physical actor and to the writers of this episode.
Oh, no, I'm a bounty hunter. It's not generally considered honorable so much as... I live by a code, though, which I think is worth...
You hurt people.
Only when the job requires it.
Wrong. You're a bad liar. You crawl inside me uninvited and you hurt my crew. I see everything that passes.
I only hurt people because they keep getting in the way of me finding you. Tell them.
What am I, your advocate?
You are starting now.
He's really very gentle and fuzzy. We're becoming fast friends.
Folks are all insane.
Well, my sister's a ship. We had a complicated childhood.
Doesn't anybody care that I have a finely crafted gun pointed at this boy's head?
I care.
Then you're gonna come out and stop me from doing what I don't want to? You gonna be smart here, River?
Here's a question for you. What did Early do that he deserved to die? He certainly made threats, and proved himself ultimately dangerous, but in the end, when the doctor stood in his way, Early just shot him in the leg and left him there to learn his lesson. Early is right. He lives by a code, but he's facing a group of people who do not trust him and who will do almost anything to survive. This would seem to be a superb example of frontier justice. He is a quintessential Firefly character, and I hold my high opinion of this TV series partially because of exciting people like him and tense situations like that.
Made the right move, darling. Best for you to go with old Early.
You think so? Some of us feel differently.